Any sense of the lineup tomorrow yet? Or decide?
Just quickly talked to our medical department, both Rick and Matt's. We'll see how they react from the skate today, and will be game time decisions tomorrow. And Mark is a definite no.
Is Mark, I mean, are you thinking it's just tomorrow and then he'll be okay for practice to get to the playoffs?
I'm hoping that he'll be on our next practice. Just like I'm hoping with Kleiner.
Yeah.
See how it works out in the next couple of days.
Do you know when your next practice is going to be?
I would say at this time we're going to wait and find out the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And our first thinking is that we would maybe start Thursday, but until you know who you're going to play and dates sort out. So it would depend on the date that it would start. Either be Monday, Tuesday, depending on when it starts.
If Nash and Zuccarello are ready to play, are they definitely going to play, or would you be inclined to maybe
No,
let them
if
rest?
those guys can play, they're going to play. So we'll see how they feel tomorrow and then make the decision.
It might have been a small time from your audition, but how impressed were you by Ryan Ford's performance in that time? And I know that you switched him up between different lines.
Yeah, no, I thought he played well for, obviously first game, the nerves of, getting your first kick at the can, the excitement. What I had heard from our Hartford coaching staff and both Shoney and Jeff that get to see Hartford quite a bit is what I saw on the ice yesterday, like a guy that brings energy, can get in on the forecheck and back check hard, and he did what I expected him to do.
I mean, whether or not he gets a chance again against Washington, do you feel like this is a great step for him in his future and his progression?
It was one game. I mean, it was a good game. It was his first opportunity, and I'm sure that at some point he'll get another opportunity to play.
Do you hear much about history books and team accomplishments, or like, for instance, the team can set a record for most victories, most points in the year? Or do you just not get into it?
It doesn't really change anything as far as our group right now. I mean, we've got one more game to play, and then after that, we need to. Once we know our opponent, we're going to focus on that opponent and get ready for a tough first round.
Seeing how crazy these playoff races in both conferences are, what's just the security knowing that you're not part of that, other than waiting for your first round opponent?
I mean, having locked up, locked up a position, and those. I would say to you that every team since October has been in playoff mode. That's how hard it is to get into the playoffs. Just look at the Stanley Cup champions. I mean, they're out. It's a lot harder than people think to get in, and then what you've got is 16 teams that, in my estimation, can all win the cup. That's how little their separation is between the teams. So, we've locked up a position. We've got one more game to play. We're going to play it, and then we're going to get ready for the next part.
What's it like for you knowing that the last time this franchise won the President's Trophy, they also won the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it changes anything. I mean, it can be a great storyline. Like, some people can make finishing first into a negative storyline. Like, usually the teams that win the President Cups don't win the Stanley Cup. But if you take the percentages of the team that finished first and make it to the Stanley Cup Finals and win the Stanley Cup Finals, that's probably the best percentage of the 16 teams coming in. So, we've had a good regular season, but we all know that we're going to be judged by what we do in the playoffs. So we got, again, like I said, we got one more game to play. We're going to play it and get ready for the first round.
I know you don't want to look ahead past the first round either, but if you guys, would it be disappointing? Would it be a disappointing season if you don't win the Stanley Cup?
Our goal is to win the Stanley Cup, but there's a lot that has to happen, before you can get to that. And you've got 16 teams that have the same goal that we have. I'm not going to talk about disappointments or whatever. I want to focus on, like we've done all year, one game at a time. And when the Stanley Cup, when the first round comes, we're going to focus on that opponent one game at a time.
You know, you talked about the Kings being out. There's a lot of other teams that are getting in for the first time in a long time. I mean, Detroit's in again, obviously, 24 years in a row.
And you got
Calgary.
four teams in the West that weren't in last year that are in, and I think almost the same thing in our conference with Columbus being out. I think I counted 3 quickly this morning there that were in last year that are out this year. So, I mean, it's.
Is it parity? Is it great coaching?
No.
Bringing in younger guys?
But it is parity in the fine line that separates teams. I mean, Montreal and I and our team both have one more game to play. They win theirs, we win ours. We're 1 point, and we lose ours with 1 point different. Does that make us much better than them? I mean, there's so little separating all the teams. I mean, it's tough, and it's going to be tough. And I think our group is really looking forward to it. The guys are real hungry for this opportunity. It's not an opportunity you get every year. Who would have said before the season started that LA wasn't going to get in, have a chance to defend for their championship? And I didn't get that opportunity. So, like I said, we got one more game to play, and we're going to focus on that.
Is the uncertainty, I know it's sometimes the same every year, but this year it just seems to be a lot of different potential opponents. Has that made the pre-scouting tougher? Or?
It was the same way last year.
Yeah.
I mean, we went down to the last game again to find out who we were going to play. I mean, same thing, just a couple more sleepless nights ahead. That's all that is.
What's another couple?
Yeah.